Welcome to the Empowered Team podcast. I am your host, Kari Schneider, leader advisor, life strategist. I'm here to help you out with your now. We don't want you to escape your now. We want to build the future that we really want. So most people don't realize it, but living in your imagination, called your future that you really want, which is an imaginary concept, the future that I'm going for, living in your imagination about your future could be the very reason that your future never arrives the way you want it. So today, I'm going to show you how to use the power of now. We use this in our triple vision concept all the time. Use this power of now to actually create the existence of life that you really, really want. So I think you've heard me talk about triple vision. And when I'm saying the power of now, what I'm saying is that your now vision is the most powerful. Your now vision is the most important. And what I'm referring to is the now, next, and far vision. That's our triple vision. And the way I teach this is that the now vision is the actions that are creating your next vision, which is the prerequisite for getting that final dream or goal. I often use an Olympic gold medal as an example because I've been lucky enough to live through experiences like that. And that means that so many practices and training sessions are often in the now zone. And then the next vision might be something like a world championships to qualify, because if that didn't happen, it's the prerequisite to qualify for the Olympics. So if that far vision is the Olympics and the ultimate far vision is an Olympic gold medal, then we've got clarity as to what's going to happen through this now vision, next vision, far vision to reach that ultimate future, that ultimate imagined, desired future. That's what I'm referring to when I talk about the now vision. And today I really want to emphasize for people, because I'm seeing the pain that people are experiencing. I want to emphasize for people the power that you have in this simple moment of now, the power that you have to create the future that you want and how it's being misused. So here we go. The future, it's just an idea. Your past, it's a memory. The only place that you're living is now. It's here. It's this moment. And I like to think of now like a lighthouse. So if we look at this, if we imagine that we are the lighthouse, we're really tall. We can see above the land, above the ocean. We can see the storms, and we can go in a 360-degree view. We can look at the past and see what happened, why it happened. We can look towards the future and imagine what we want to see happen. We can see our environment right now, where we live, what we've created, who is next to us, who matters to us. So I like to see this like a lighthouse. But then I realize when this lighthouse image is there, and if we create this analogy with a lighthouse, it's really a concept. It's not like real life. Real life is more like the eco-adventure map quest navigating race that Paul and I did about 10 years ago. We did this race and we were in it to complete it, even though it was probably going to take us, I don't know, anywhere from 7 to 10 hours. We were in it to place. We were in it to win. We were in it to go hard. We knew we had all these amazing tools and skills and fitness levels that we were going to go for it. And this race involved canoeing. It involved running. And then it involved biking. And the whole way you had to read a map. You had to understand where you're going. But the biking was about 80 kilometers. And that's after you'd run a 10-kilometer road run. And then prior to that, we'd gotten in a canoe, paddled, and then gotten out of the canoe and gone from there. In that experience, now Paul and I had never paddled together, but I'd done paddling races with other people before, men, not women, other men. and been on teams and done eco adventure races, but Paul and I had never paddled together. And we also had one of the crappiest rental canoes. We came out of the water, which was the first leg of the race, with hundreds of other competitors. We came out of the water second last. Second last. Blame the canoe, blame our paddling. It doesn't matter. We went in zigzags the entire way and came out of the water second last. It was humbling to say the least, annoying. It challenged our teamwork, I can tell you that. And then we had to run together for 10 kilometers. And on that run, we just mowed people down. We were really fit. We caught up a lot of place points, and we found our way probably to the bottom third instead of the actual last. We'd taken a wrong turn reading our map. But that's the example right there, because then we got on a bike. We each got on our bikes. We had the map, and we had to find waypoints. We had to find all these little markers. We had to get the proof of the marker, and we had to keep going. And it was not clear. It was far from clear. We were in the bush. There were all kinds of little trails and little roads, and people were lost and wandering all over the place. It was one of the hardest things. The weather was not great. It was cold. It was so hard. And we kept going. But that's more like what now can be like, where we are trying really hard. We're looking at a map. We get lost. We have some success where we can celebrate. Oh, we got that waypoint. We're on to the next one. There's only another 10 to go. We had those moments, but we're also not on this perfectly high lighthouse looking around with clarity, seeing everything because there's a beautiful spotlight highlighting everything we needed to see. That's not what real life is. We were in what is an example of real life, where we're looking at a map. It's usually muddy. We're in the brush. We're on a bike. Sometimes we're moving fast. Sometimes we've gone the wrong way. Sometimes we've successfully gotten the waypoint. We're high-fiving, feeling really good. Other times we're taking a snack break. We're trying to win in a race that we're already really behind in. That's more what real life is like. And when we're in the moment, we're usually just in the struggle and the strife of trying to get to the finish line, instead of enjoying that we're doing it together, that we're a team, that we're endeavoring to do something fun and creative and enjoying the environment. Instead, we're struggling most of the time. So that's more what we're usually feeling like when we're having challenges. We're still feeling some joy. We're going towards a goal, and it's bloody messy. Everything is going differently than we thought it would. It's harder than we thought it would. The successes feel better than we thought they would. And it's way longer than we ever thought it was possible. If you want to know the end of that story, we finally crossed the finish line. And when we did, we placed in the top third. We were really, really proud of how far we worked our way back up from starting the first leg so far at the bottom. And it took us over 8 hours. We were exhausted, but we knew at the end of that we would do it again, that we would love to do it again. It would be awesome to do it again. Now, did we do one of those again? No, but at the time we would have done it again because it felt worth it, even though it was so much harder and there was so much more disappointment than we anticipated. So that's more what it's like living in the now. The combination of now is constantly this combination of success and disappointment, gratitude and enjoyment of what we have, real appreciation, and desire for what we don't have. It's simultaneously the simple example of this glass of water. If I'm thirsty, I want it. When I'm having it, it feels so good, but then I don't care about it once I've just had it. It's this constant cycle in this moment of now. And the problem comes in is if we're training ourselves that now matters less than our future, that now matters less than what we desire. And that's the biggest lie that holds us back from living a fulfilled life and from really getting to our future in a way that feels really good, really powerful. So I want to show you how we misuse the now. You're going to imagine a few of the pain points. Imagining that the future's better, using pain, something I don't like about right now, to drive us. It's human nature. This is how our brain is wired. Our brain is created to desire. We use dopamine in our neurotransmitters for motivation. That's why it's there. It's so we want the water. It's so we want the thing. However, and keep going towards the thing. However, if we keep staying in a space of feeling like what we have right now isn't good enough, that's where the trouble comes in, because we end up missing the life we actually have. We're always somewhere else mentally. We're always desiring something different than what we currently have. And if we're always somewhere else mentally, we're not living our experience that we do have. And you accumulate these small bites of experiences over time, and what it creates is our life. Ultimately, that's the end point. The future becomes this fantasy escape from what we're experiencing now, and it doesn't have to be that way. We then can become addicted to feeling this pain and dissatisfaction, this constant dissatisfaction, and using that to move forward. Then we become accommodated, or at worst, addicted to pain, suffering, dissatisfaction to use as motivation or just to be experiencing on the day-to-day. That's not what we want. We're humans who are here to be our best. Whatever your version of your best looks like, and I'll bet it's changed a lot over time. Mine certainly has. So just show up as your best. That's all we can do. So here's what we look at. If we're always using pain as the fuel to progress, your life will be built out of pain. If we're using joy as well as desire to progress, then our life will be built out of joy and desire. So take a look at what's really going on for you and what you really want. I look back at various times in my life or my career, and I think I have a bit more perspective when I'm living in the moment now. When I was so sick with Graves' disease and lying in bed, I would have given anything for the annoyance I had a month prior for not being able to do a handstand yet. Because at the time I was working on a goal of being able to do a handstand for a minute, and I couldn't do it. So I was working on all the skills and drills and exercises. But in my head, I was complaining that it wasn't going fast enough. I was annoyed that I couldn't do it as well yet. There were this level of dissatisfaction that was motivating me and fueling me along, but I was rarely giving myself a pat on the back and celebrating the fact that I had the strength to hold an inversion position for 2 minutes straight. Rarely was I celebrating what I could do and really living in the moment. What I was doing was making however far I was, what I could do in the moment, not good enough. So I was living in the not good enough. Flash forward a month later when I'm so sick in bed that for months and months, I was just trying to gain enough weight back to be able to do any sort of workout beyond 3 minutes long, meaning I couldn't even walk for more than 5 minutes for many, many weeks. At that point, I would have given anything to go back to where I was. I had some more perspective because I was forced to stop, forced by illness to stop. I look back again, way early in my career, when I was one of very few people in the world to be able to have a manager of strength and conditioning role at a Canadian sport institute. This national level title that in our country probably had less than 10 people in that very role. And I'm among the best in the world for the best athletes in the world. Amazing privilege, incredible privilege. But I remember at the time how I couldn't stand the bureaucracy. I couldn't stand how many meetings I needed to be in. I couldn't stand the politics that controlled so many things. And yet that came with that level of role. So did I really get to appreciate the joy and the incredible role that I had to contribute to our elite in our country? Or was I spending a lot of the time looking at the problems that I just couldn't solve? It was an interesting thing to realize how much time I personally have spent suffering and dissatisfaction, thinking that something in my future would be better. Now, do I believe I've created better things in my life because of focusing on my future? Absolutely. But I also realize now, with this way of thinking, so simple and yet so powerful, I realize now that it's so much easier and so much better for my life to be able to be in the now, to be able to experience everything that the now offers without making it wrong, with going toward my future in a way that has complete autonomy, complete control out of three things that are dictating your now. All that matters about your now is what you think, how you feel, and what actions you take. That is what consists in your now. That's all. What you think, how you're feeling, what actions you can take. That's what you have the most influence over in your now. And then you take that thought, emotion, and action ability and apply it to yourself, other people around you, and your purpose. Simple. That's what the now consists of. In your triple vision, don't get confused. When I present to tens of people, if I've got a group, an audience of 100 people, and I ask them with their eyes closed, and they visualize their now vision, their next vision, and their far vision, and then I have them open their eyes, and I have them look at me, and I say, hands up. Who sees the far vision most clear? Who sees the next vision most clear? And who sees the now vision most clear? The majority of people have greatest clarity about that future vision because they want it so bad. The second one is the now vision. They have greatest clarity, the second greatest clarity around the now vision. Why? Because it's right here. It's right now. So what action am I going to do? Who am I going to be right now? And I use that example to emphasize the struggle in the next vision, the struggle in the middle. But the reality is, we just focus on that because that's what we're struggling with the most. The most important part of anything in triple vision, the most important part of your entire life, your entire career, your family, everything that you do is your now vision, is your ability to influence your own thoughts, your own emotions, and your own actions towards yourself primarily, and how that relays onto other people and your purpose. Now, if I say that, some of you are listening going, holy crap, don't talk to me about my purpose. That just stresses me out. So here's the thing. Just by you managing your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions towards yourself and towards others, and something, even if you're not clear that it's your purpose, but something greater than yourself, something that involves impact on something greater than yourself. It could be your current job. You're impacting something greater than yourself. That allows you to find your purpose. By playing in the world, trial and error over and over in the world, with action, with other humans, that's how you figure out your purpose. And your purpose might simply be showing up as your best in your work role, Your purpose might be as simple as raising the family that you really want to influence. That right there. Those are the most amazing things because it's somebody's purpose. Your purpose is simply based on you discovering yourself while interacting with the world. And as you interact with the world, you discover more and more about yourself, what lights you up. That's all your purpose is. What lights you up? What do you love doing as you interact with others in the world? That's all. So if we're going to get really simple about the power of purpose, it is micro moments over and over and over and over and over, equally positive and negative. One might be negative, one might be positive. It's going to balance out. Those micro moments over and over and over make up your life. But we tend to make more negative about the now instead of there's just as much positive about the now. But we tend to make more negative when we're going for something in our future because we believe that if we have to get away from this to get to that. But you don't have to get away from anything. You simply go toward the thing that lights you up the most. So you simply go toward that journey. And on that journey, I promise you, just like the race I described with Paul, I promise you that end destination is likely not going to be exactly what you imagined. It's likely going to look subtly different or massively different. Why? Because along the way, in that now vision actions into your next vision, you learn so much more about life, the next experiences. You learn so much more about yourself that then it influences the direction that you take. You're not blindly going in a straight line. You're taking actions that then give feedback. Oh, no, this way. Nudge you that way. Oh, this looks better. And that is how you end up figuring out more about yourself, more about life, and discovering what that far vision actually looks like might be different, a lot different. And that's okay, because that difference is dictated by how you evolved, by how you changed, by how you started to embrace what's going to happen now. How am I going to think? How am I going to feel? How am I going to process what I feel? How am I going to take action into the world? How am I going to interact with other humans? That is your life. And I hate to break it to you, but the most amazing lives that exist usually exist based on boring, consistent actions that yield an accumulation of amazing. An accumulation of amazing from boring actions. I can say that over and over, that I might go for a walk. You do that every day and it becomes pretty boring. But when you realize how much it gives you from doing that every day, it's not boring anymore. It's amazing. It's foundational. It's sustainable. It's part of what's given me an amazing life. A boring thing like that. I don't get up looking forward to my workout every morning. Definitely not. But I do it every day because it's foundational in mine now to create the life that I love, to create the feelings that I have in my body, to create the health that I desire. And it's happened from boring actions every single day, every single moment. Some of them are uncomfortable. Some of them feel amazing. Either way, that's okay. So remember, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, that's all that now is. And those three things are toward yourself, towards others, and towards your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, that's okay. By continually taking action in something that's greater than yourself, you will figure out which direction to go. It's either lights you up or it doesn't. It either fills your cup or it doesn't. So what I want to leave you with here is to really reflect on if you've been giving yourself the gift of what your current life is and how amazing it is, how amazing you are, how far you've come, how all of the skills you've developed, all the person that you've become. That's all that's going to get you to your next step. And continually building on what you've built upon is what's going to help you along the way. It's smaller than you think and far more impactful than you realize. That's what it is. You have the ability right now to look all around you. Stop like the lighthouse and look all around you. 360 degrees. Your past, your present, your future, your people, your environment. Take a look around you. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of things you don't like because the reality is you're on a map quest in the middle of the bush on a muddy bike with a couple people next to you. That's the reality. That's what it really looks like. But look around you because I'll bet there's some people, there's no one else you'd rather be with. Look around you. I bet it's just an amazing spot that you've somehow landed in. And I'll bet you get to explore and then appreciate your amazing spot. And I bet you get to play and consider making a new amazing spot. And all of that's okay. But you don't have to do it continually from a place of pain. You don't have to do it continually from dissatisfaction. And that is the real point here. Take a look at what your thoughts are now. Take a look at what some of your emotions are day to day now. Take a look at what some of those regular actions are day to day now. I'll bet there's a lot of them there that are pretty amazing. See how amazing they are. I'll bet there's a few that you could really take a look at adjusting. But don't make it wrong. Just make the adjustment. Away you go. Accumulate your amazing with those little small nows. Everything in the now is tiny and profound. So notice one thing today. Maybe it's a thought, maybe it's an emotion, maybe it's an interaction with somebody you care about. Maybe there's something that needs a little kindness. Maybe there's something that needs a little adjustment. And choose one small now noticing or move that aligns with something you see for yourself in your future. Something that makes your heart sing, lights you up, makes you feel like you're contributing to something that's larger than yourself. Share it with me. Send me a message. Send me a little DM. I am on Instagram, _MPRWD. That. Send us a little message. Let us know how you're doing. And if this strikes you to share with someone else, be generous. Share with your people. This is important. Living in your future that doesn't exist is not nearly as powerful as realizing your now and acting accordingly to the future purpose that you want. Go get it, everybody. Happy Monday. Have a great rest of your week.